Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I want to tell you about our friends over at Streetside Brewery. That is right. They are, I had a Streetside in my hand when we were doing the emergency podcast last week. Streetside are the folks that make all of this possible, and you should support them because they support us, okay? Streetside, located east side of Cincinnati, Columbia, Tusculum. I don't even need to tell you that because you know where the best brewery in the city is located. Duh. They're over there. They have an amazing spot. They are brewing delicious beers. They just had their pickle beer celebration. They have all sorts of cool events going on. They are a fantastic place to watch a game. Watch FC Cincinnati. Watch Premier League in the morning with Queen City Fulham. Watch Formula One, watch the Reds, watch all of it. It's a good spot. It's not a sports bar though, okay? They do crafts, they do community events with books and all sorts of things. It's amazing. Live music. Really, really, really happy to have Streetside on board. Go check them out. You will not be disappointed. Delicious beers and delicious food to boot. Check them out. Streetside Brewery. Huge thank you for sponsoring this episode. And on today's episode, we are, yes, talking about the loss against NYCFC. It hurts, but I think this is an important loss to talk about because the team looked really bad, really bad. Some really puzzling, head-scratching decisions in the lineup and in the substitutions. And I think in unpacking that, we will learn more about what this team will look like in the home stretch of the season. There's just like 6 more games left in the season. It's wild. The Shield race is as hot as it can be. There are 2 massive games coming up for FC Cincinnati. New additions joining this team in just a moment. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. So what the heck happened against NYCFC? Why does this team look so bad sometimes? We get into it. And then we wrap it up in part 2 by looking at said Shield race. Where are the other teams? What do their schedules look like? What is this Shield race going to look like going forward? Put it all together, and you got yourselves a healthy healing postcast. Joining me to talk about all of that and more for the 3rd, 4th time now, joined by the Chief. I'm joined by Grayson. Now I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
Yeah, Grayson, is your mic working? Can you see the audio file on your end?
Yeah, I can see it. I think it's working.
All right.
I still don't know when the last time I've been in a roller skating or roller venue.
Yeah. I always refer to it as a roller rink, but I don't know if that's
roller arena.
Roller arena?
Like in like an inside one? Oof, boy.
Yeah, not a skate park. That is not going to count for these purposes.
Right. Like I've been inside like ice skating rinks.
It's close.
Pretty recently.
It's
too bougie.
Yeah.
But roller skating rinks, man, I don't know, like junior high.
Yeah, right.
Did your guys' elementary school do like roller parties? Like I remember vividly growing up when I was in school growing up in Anderson, that we used to have like quarterly, like it was multiple times during the year where we'd go out. There would be like a school night out at the Beachmont Roll Arena, and we'd all go and skate in circles and occasionally play Street Fighter 2. So
Chief, you'll be happy to know that tradition in Anderson is alive and well.
I love this.
And
this makes me happy.
Saturday, got to host my little girl's birthday party at the Beachmont Roll Arena. So there you go.
They probably have the exact same arcade machines I played back in the day. They had we had Street Fighter 2, Operation Wolf, the game that just had the giant submachine gun that you would shoot at the screen. Very, very good for kids. You know, just really like helping them learn the best social skills there.
Which
they
one
also
is
served
it?
They served electric red rope licorice too. It was phenomenal. Yes. The big 3 foot long candy that just sent you into a sugar coma.
Which arcade game is it that had the pedal that you stepped on to come out from
Time Crisis?
Time Crisis. Yeah. Time Crisis is my favorite.
I think Area 51 might have had the same mechanic. But see, the problem with the pedal though is you couldn't play that because you had to play them on skates. Because you had to be able to play them on roller skates, which severely limits the level of foot interaction you can have. Like, they can't be installing a Cruisin' USA machine at a roll arena. That's not going to work.
That is a really good point.
The other, this was also a big moment growing up for you boy, because I was the right generation for. As soon as we were getting into like the roll arena party age, that's when a little thing called rollerblades hit. And if you had a set of blades, you were the coolest cat on the ice.
Absolutely. Man, it was wild to be back. It smells the same. Like, it looks the same. Everything was the same.
I haven't been in one since I was probably like 12. Like, I had a friend who, as an adult, like I had a friend that threw like an 80s roller skate themed birthday party.
Nice.
Where there was alcohol involved and multiple people broke limbs at the event, which to me makes it a smash success. But I don't even know what would happen if I got on roller skates at this point. I think I might die.
I was really tempted to try it, but I could not bring myself to do it.
No, if I saw an adult on roller skates, I would have a lot of questions at this point in my life. Or like an adult rollerblading, I would have a lot of questions.
There's like a subculture. They're out there. They're living their best life out just past the 275 loop.
I knew a guy. Well, I knew a guy who he's still alive. I just don't really know him anymore.
Oh, fair.
Who was like, his wife was like a big runner and he wasn't. And so she would go on these long runs, and in order to like spend time with her and keep up with her, he would wear rollerblades and rollerblade next to his wife while she was out on a run. And like, man, I don't know. Like, I think you just either just gotta not run, or build up your cardio. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna be on rollerblades while my wife is running 10 miles.
I feel like this is a great use of like the golf cart or the gator, where you just sort of slowly drive next to her as she runs down the street. So you can have like the conversation. Maybe you have like one of the ones that has the cooler in the back, so you can just sit there and have a couple pops while she's exercising.
Yeah, this is funny because they were at the time they were living in Chicago. Like in the city proper, I believe Wicker Park. So that would have been a funny sight. Is a guy like riding a golf cart in the middle of Chicago, popping. I don't even know what would have been popular at the time.
Goose Island, probably.
Goose Island. Yeah. Because they probably weren't bought by InBev yet.
Yeah, that was back when they had a soul, man, before corporate ruined them, man. I was actually just thinking it would be really fun. It's like, these are ideas I have if like I wanted to commit fully to the content creator lifestyle, which I can't do because I hate the content creator lifestyle. I hate these people.
Correct.
But rollerblades on the march.
Yes, the rollerblade march would be so funny.
And like, I just have like this idea that you'd be rollerblading through OTR, and then you get to the stadium, and like obviously you can't just leave the rollerblades outside, so you'd have to like, you know, carry the blades in with you, and just the look you would get through security, where it's like, hey man, are my blades good to go through?
Yeah, can I bring a blade in? Can I bring my blades in? Oh god, just like the most demeaning line at the little like item check truck that they have out there for the coat check.
But like, you got to do it with like the elbow pads and the knee pads, like your parents would have made you wear back in the day.
Yeah,
and a helmet.
Are elbow pads and knee pads allowed in TQL Stadium?
I mean, they're probably required if, Guido Gonzalez ever refs another game in this place.
Just like they're plastic. Like, they'd be fine.
But
man,
turns your entire body into a weapon of war, though. Like,
right. Imagining that in like helmets, just the Bailey is like fully armored up and ready to go.
Can you imagine if it's like your first game at FC Cincinnati and you walk into the Bailey and people are wearing like full pads and helmets and you're like, what the hell goes on in here anyway?
Oh, what have I signed up for?
It's like we're Charlotte proofing ourselves.
Oh, God. For reasons that are not me being obsessed with high school football, I also went to a high school football game this weekend. And there was something that I thought maybe we could bring to Bailey culture. And that was, so I went to Turpin versus McNick. Nice little local derby, if I could be so annoying. And at the game, it was at Turpin, the McNick student section. And like a lot of the parents all wore like Hawaiian shirts and like vacation wear. And the Turpin student section was all blackout. They were having like their own blackout game. And I was thinking, we did this kind of once in the Bailey.
I remember this.
We need more Bailey
Ron
theme
Jan's
nights.
dad shirt night.
Yes. We need more Bailey theme nights. A formal night would be hilarious.
I've been pitching the formal night for a while. Like, I was trying to convince our good friend, your good friend, Das Harks, that they needed to have all the drummers wearing suits like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones one night. I thought that would go incredibly hard.
Come on. That would be great. We could have Kentucky night. And, you could just dress up in whatever you would like to interpret Kentucky as.
Bring your wife or significant other in a shirt that says, I'm his sister.
Yes. See, that's fun. We're having fun.
Good. That's fun. That's just good, clean, good-natured fun.
But yeah, I was thinking that would be fun. Also, I don't want to rat anybody out. But this is going to annoy the bejesus out of a handful of our capos and knights. I saw smoke in hand in the student section at Turpin. All right. Were they
wearing a proper safety glove as prescribed by the USL?
No. No safety gloves, no buckets, no extinguishers, no paid $90 an hour professionals setting this off.
I don't know how well known this is among the people that might not have been around back in the day, but the USL had a rule that said that anyone that was using a smoke device in the Bailey had to be wearing a glove, and they would just sit, because we had so many people setting smoke off. They would just sit and watch the footage afterwards.
Yep. And
comb through it so they could send the team violation letters to make money off fines. And so, like, I always imagine the staff, like Birding or somebody like that, watching the game in real time and seeing someone hold up a smoke in an ungloved hand and just screaming out, like, at the top of their lungs, some sort of a curse word or a stronger language about how much money was coming out of the ownership's pocket on this one.
What if instead of smoke bombs, we did like some type of like flavored vape bombs?
We call them cherry bombs.
There's enough vape shops.
No, we don't call them
town.
cherry bombs.
Surely somebody's got one.
Yeah. Just a giant puff of cotton candy flavored vape.
Yeah.
Vape vapors.
They should make flavored smoke. That shouldn't be that hard to do, right? Like the people that make those smoke devices.
I think you're encouraging something that does not need to be encouraged.
I don't know. Like, if only we knew someone that worked at a flavor additives company that could like do this, like make it orange, the orange smoke smell like oranges instead of that like awful sulfur smell. That would be delightful.
I'll put it to the team.
Right. Orange and
nobody's drinking
orange,
this.
Blueberry flavored smoke, orange flavored smoke. You would look forward to goals even more, like sha-la-la ringing out with the pleasant aroma of orange and citrus.
What if somebody had like soccer, what is it, synesthesia? where like you watch like certain formations and certain qualities of play, and you like see colors and smell smells based on like what's happening on the field. But that would, like, your experience of a soccer game would be way different than the typical experience, which is you see what's happening and you smell sweat and farts and whatever's is going on in the Bailey.
Grayson, I think you're onto something here, because that might explain why Pat Noonan continues to set up and deploy his team in a certain way, which
it's the play style that to him smells like bacon.
Yes.
Or he's like, I love this. I just have this bacon smell for 2 hours every day.
It's fried eggs,
sounds
fried
like the music.
bacon.
Like he looks at it and it sounds like the music of the Beatles. It's just like, oh.
Yeah. Every pass between two center backs is like the sizzle on the grill.
It's like, this is Bacon Abbey Road.
Have we thought that the home goal scoring woes is because the players don't like the smell of the smoke?
I think the players don't like the fans.
Ooh, that's a tough one too.
I think the players and the coaches and basically everybody employed by the team.
Maybe we need to switch.
They just don't like the fans.
Maybe we just need to switch the color up. Maybe they need to see like white smoke or black smoke or something different, like something. Maybe orange and blue has just gotten passé for them.
It'd be like if what if like the Harlem Globetrotters played like home and away, but at their home games they were the Washington Generals.
Ooh, I like this. Okay.
So you have an entirely different experience of the game, depending on
If you
whether
saw
you're
them
watching
home or
them
away.
at home or away.
Or
It's kind of like what we got going on.
10-year anniversary. Do we play the rest of the games at Nippert?
It couldn't hurt.
They might need to go back to train at Nippert for a day. Like this is like a shitty sports movie where it's like they have to do something like, you have to bury a football or you have to throw out the playbook and the shredder just to like metaphorically we're turning a new page. So we turn over to a blank page and everybody signs it. Go back and train on the field, the AstroTurf at Nippert for a day to remind these players what it truly means to be an FC Cincinnati, to be part of this organization.
Yeah. I kind of thought that's what I thought we like shredded Sergio Santos on the way out. That was our way of turning the page. He's out of here.
Kevin, what's wrong with this team?
I have theories, but I don't know, man. This is what's so weird about FC Cincinnati and this team is like this whole season, they've had a handful of great games, but not a lot, right? Not a lot where it all clicked.
Like
Zero.
I wouldn't even say a handful. I'd say like maybe one or two.
Right.
What great games?
That Monterey game was
Monterey start to finish was pretty good. They've certainly had halves. The first half of Portland. What was it? The first half against Columbus in Columbus.
Montreal 3-1.
First 6 minutes of Columbus in Columbus, or first 15, 20 minutes of Columbus in Columbus.
And the first 15 minutes of Columbus here in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But outside of that, they've certainly looked horrific at times. Not often, but enough. And then they look bang on average, absolutely capable of grinding out a victory and or getting beat for most of the season. And yet they have consistently been a top 3 team in this league. And I don't know if that is an indictment of MLS, and maybe it is. Jonah brought up the point in the Discord that like maybe just all MLS teams suck. So we just suck a little bit less than all of the other MLS teams. But I guess I don't understand the overarching theory of what this team is trying to do. Because here's a couple of things they're not trying to do. They are not trying to force feed Kevin Denke to make spectacular plays. Many people have said, we have said that this is a team that relies on their superstars to get it done. No, it relies on Evander, and Denke happens to get it done because they're not trying to get him the ball at all.
Well, they're not trying to force feed him to do spectacular things, but they're not even trying to force feed it to him
to
do
average things,
normal or mundane things.
Right. There is not a clear effort to get the ball out wide and cross it into the box. It's just not really in the repertoire. They are not trying to play centrally. Like, the goal is not to get the ball in the middle and let Buka, Anunga, Obi, and Evander, out pass teams and break down that way. Maybe they do long ball route one stuff, but not really. They do it a little bit more when Kai Kamara is out there, but he's not out there all the time. And they don't, up to this point, we haven't seen a replacement for that. Maybe the best thing you can say is that what this team does, the theory of this team, is that they stay compact, they keep the ball as far away from the opposition as possible until they can get the ball up the left flank and let whoever is playing on the left dribble into the box, create chaos, and hope to capitalize on chaos. And as far as I can tell, that is the only thing that this team does.
Yeah.
Evander shoots the ball from outside the box.
Evander does shoot the ball from outside of the box. However,
which I'm not opposed to.
Which is a fine idea,
but
right?
It can't be the only thing.
But here's the thing. It is very much not the thing, because Pat Noonan said to a question that Damon Gumbert asked, which is, isn't it valuable to have Dado Valenzuela drawing fouls outside of the box when you have a sharpshooter like Evander? And Noonan shot down the entire concept right away. Like, no, that is not what we want to be doing. That's not how we want to be playing this, which I guess on one hand, you kind of have to say that to keep some coaching dignity, but also that's what teams in the Premier League do to survive. Free kick teams exist. Burnley exists. Brexit football exists. So it's a known strategy. So, okay. So of all of the things, it's, desperate shots, not desperate, but, long range shots from outside, usually from free kicks, but not always, and dribbling in from the left. So if that is the case, why did Brad Smith start as the left wing back, the left dribbly boy against NYCFC?
I don't know. The problem with all this is that I think that there's enough of a body of evidence over the last basically 2 years of this team to conclude that what this team wants to do is they want to play as slowly and as plodding as possible.
Mm-hmm.
They want to play with committing as few numbers forward as possible in all situations so that they can get back and defend. They do not want to run. They do not want to play quickly. And the default thought for this team is, when in doubt, pass backwards and get the center backs back involved and cycle the ball around the center backs. And the goal of having the ball at the feet of the center backs is not to switch play, because they do it so slowly. Right. It would be one thing if there were big switches or fast passes to get the defense out of shape. They don't do that. They literally just rotate the ball back and forth to try and see if someone maybe feels like having a go at running at the defense. And when you receive the ball, if you're just not in the mood to have a go at running at the defense, you pass back and you try the other side and see if maybe by the time it reaches back to the left side again, we're ready to do this. But they don't try to get anyone out of shape. They don't move quickly. They don't break. They don't try to make line-breaking passes like the goal that they got scored on. They never make that pass. No. When was the last time you saw anyone on this team try to make a line-breaking through ball pass? It's always short, controlled passes that usually end up either sideways or backwards. And then the only offense this team seems to do consistently is, let's see if one guy on the wing can beat two men 1v2 and get through, and then maybe there's an opportunity to pass somewhere or shoot somewhere. But they don't play over the top, because they tried that with Ender a couple of times. And when he gets out there, he's by himself because no one has made the run with him to give him an option to offload. So it's always if Ender can beat two guys, Maybe there's someone waiting at the top of the box that he can pass to.
Right.
Because again, if you are at the top of the box, you're in better position to track back and defend. I genuinely think that this team could sign $200 million worth of attacking talent. The game plan will still be, we are going to grind out a 1-0 win. And like, if we have to score more than that, it will only be because we need to score against the team that's already scored on us. That's it. Their goal, slow the game down. Like, how many times have you heard Pat Noonan in these press conferences talk about playing under control or simplifying?
Yeah.
Like, the goal is to be slow, plotting, methodical, and maybe get a goal per game. Like, they don't win penalties at a high rate because they're not putting the defense under pressure. They don't get simple goals because people don't run and make attacking off-ball runs. They're just waiting for an opportunity to shoot from distance. And it's tough to watch, man. There's a lot more games like they have played a lot more games like last night than they have, the 3-2 back and forth game against Portland. Last night is the sort of exemplar of how FCC's offense runs. I don't know why. It's a choice. I don't know why they're making this choice, though.
Yeah, it's like kind of shocking how often how often, when they get the ball to like right around the line between like the middle third and our attacking third, the guy will like stand over the ball. There's no obvious like movement or anything happening around him. He like looks forward, makes a decision about whether he's going to try to just dribble past a bunch of guys or not. And if he doesn't, maybe he'll pass it laterally, and that other guy will just kind of stand on the ball, look forward, decide if there's something obvious or clear or whatever. There's nothing. Passes back to the previous guy, and then it cycles back around. Like, this can't be hard for teams to defend. And Chief, you brought up like, chasing it when you're behind, but like we have seen time and again when FC Cincinnati goes up, they immediately concede all the ball and all the chances. Yeah, right.
Under siege.
We haven't seen one time this season that FC Cincinnati went down and then immediately just turned it on and started dominating the ball and just hammering the opposite goal. Like, I don't think this happened one time.
It doesn't ever happen. Like,
to be fair, we're not losing a ton. Like, we're winning a lot more. We're in position to win a lot more than we are chasing a game. So there isn't. It's always going to seem like we're getting battered more often than we're the one delivering the battering, because we've won so many more games than we've lost this year.
But when the team goes down, it feels like when the team goes down, it feels like the game's over.
Yeah.
So you go into the playoffs. Do you think that, like, if the team doesn't give up any goals, or they score 2 goals before the other team scores, feel decent about that game. If they go down, I don't know what. Yeah. Like, it's weird. So like, I was thinking about some of the stuff Noonan talked about. When Noonan talked about the game and talked about the poor effort, like, and he goes to these often kind of same things, right? He says, just didn't have a lot of creativity in general, or our decision making under pressure was poor. And he talks a lot about like creativity, individual errors, poor decision making. And I want to know, like, what's going on there? Like, what types, like, are they running scenarios with the players about what to do in certain circumstances? Is the idea that we have good players on offense who will just figure it out and they'll just be creative and make good decisions? Like, is the offense like based on the players being creative, making good decisions? Or are they trying to instill in them a philosophy or pattern of play that isn't just getting in anybody's head? You know, because like when you look at teams that are consistently, you know, good with the ball, it feels like they have kind of default patterns and principles that all the players are drilled on. So they don't have to think every single moment and run through like all 5 options in their head.
Right.
You know, like you have kind of a scripted option that is always available to you because the other players on your team are practicing under the same, are playing under the same philosophy, you know, versus no one versus, you know, alternatively, like everyone's kind of freestyling.
Right.
And so you have to like look around and see like where everybody is or where the ball and stuff might be. Like we see, you know, like a team like Columbus, oftentimes like the ball is played into space and a crew player is the first guy on it or is the only person with any chance to be on it. And it's not because, you know, the guy speculatively kicked the ball into space.
Right.
You know, it's that they understand that they see a space. Their teammate also saw the space and is going to be in that space.
Right.
You know,
Right.
And it's, you know, you think about it like football, right? They have plays they call, and it would be very different to have an offense if like the wide receivers just ran everywhere and Joe Burrow had to like look at every single player and try to figure out where they are and where they're going.
Right.
You know, and that's not so like, it's like, are we saying like it's all down to independent decision making and lack of creativity because they're not given any kind of guidance and they're not practicing, you know, what kinds of things that they should expect from each other offensively and like how they want to, like what patterns they want to play and how they want to move the ball, how they want to get the defense out of shape, which Chief, you know, you mentioned, and I think a lot of us have seen it, like they don't really do.
Right.
Like they don't use movement of the ball to get the defense out of shape, you know? And is that a coach's choice to rely on, you know, individual decision making and creativity, or are the players just deciding that they just want to do whatever they want to do?
Right. And there's just certain days where they don't have it. And it's like, I'm out of ideas right now. And if that's what he's saying, I'm not, this is sort of the level where I tap out on soccer in my understanding of the game. Like I've never pretended ever to be an expert in understanding tactics or X's and O's or anything like that. I've watched enough of the game at this point to say like, that looks bad. Like I can do that, or that looks pretty. Like I can do that.
Sure.
But this idea of what is it they're telling the players? What is it that the players go into the game already knowing?
Yeah.
Versus just sort of like, let's see what they're doing, because there are some teams that we just struggle mightily against. Like we struggle mightily against this NYCFC team. Like we never consistently score on this team. Like we play a lot of knockdown, drag out games against this team. And most of the games end 1-1, 1-0, 1-1, or 0-0. Like that shit. We went through the results last week, and it's like, yeah, the Bradley Carnell coach teams, like they seem to know exactly what to do with us. And I'm just curious, like, do they go into these games like watching film and having ideas of like, okay, what they are going to do to you is they are going to, every time they play us, they pinch down on the wings and they close off this angle and they immediately rally to this thing. And when that happens, what do we do? Like, it feels like a lot of the teams we play have a very clear idea of how to beat us. And they have ideas for what they're going to do, where they're going to attack, where they play balls played into space, balls played down the right-hand side, through balls on the ground. For saying balls a lot, it's going to make me giggle at some point. But like, I don't see that from us. And I never once look at these games where we're struggling, and there's never, if something changed in terms of the tactics at halftime, I didn't see it. The game looked exactly the same. I mean, it looked worse because they brought worse players in, but I would love at some point, you'll never get this, but I would love just to know from Pat Noonan, like, all right, break down for me, like, what is the ideal here? Or like, let's watch this film right here. Evander has the ball here. What should be happening in the platonic ideal of your offense? And why isn't it happening here? And if the answer is just Kevin Denke needs to figure out see that space, and Evander needs to know that space is there, and they both have to simultaneously like use the force to figure out what the other is going to do, I don't know that that's a great plan. Maybe that is. Maybe that is just how great teams operate. I just don't think that that's the case. I think that I think that there is, like, obviously there's creativity and kind of seeing special things and having special moments that takes you to another level or adds to your game, right? But when stuff isn't working, having kind of just a security blanket of, like, it's not your day, rather than trying to like force it, let's work the plan.
Right.
Let's work the system.
Go back to the basics.
Work the system. Yep. Maybe you'll get back in a groove, right? But at least you have something taking a little bit of pressure off of you having to decide in the moment how to generate an entire offense.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think in anybody's job,
yeah,
you have little tricks you turn back to when you get stuck. Like if you're drafting like an email, you're like, man, I don't know what the best, I just do it the same way I always do it.
Right.
I want to
maybe AI could design an offense for us.
Dear Claude, we're stuck. I want to run through the starting 11 real quick because I want to touch on that point, Chief. So the starting 11 in this one, I go a lot of different ways with this, but in goal was Roman Celentano. The back line from left to right, Angle, Miazga, Haglund. You had Brad Smith as your starting left wing back. You had Alvis Powell as your starting right wing back. The defensive midfield of Buka and Anunga, Evander ahead of them, and it was Kevin Denke and Ender Echenike up top as attackers. But here's the thing.
Why?
If the philosophy is the players got to figure it out, and maybe they do need to have some Jedi mind trick connection to be able to figure out play, we've already heard from Evander that he feels like he has that connection with Dado Valenzuela. Why would you not play the guy with the mental connection with the star player if that's the plan? And if it's not the plan, that's fine. Ender Echenike, we heard from Chris Albright, was brought in to, at the very least, compete for the starting right wing back job, if not be handed to him outright. That deal for Wojcik was very late. Okay, so I think Ender was in fact the plan.
Mark Zook.
Or Mark Zook, sorry. Yeah. Mark Zook. Why was Echenike not in the right wing back spot?
I don't know. Like
I have a broader question first.
Please.
All right.
Okay. That I want to know. It changes how I would and we're not going to have an answer here, but it changes how I would think about and discuss this lineup.
Okay.
And like neither one I would be necessarily like happy, but I would ask different questions depending on what the answer to this is.
Okay.
And I want to know, like, does Pat Noonan think that this lineup was the strongest available to him on the night?
That's a really good question.
Because if he does, then we'll talk about, I think, what we would, what we're going to talk about. But if he doesn't think that was the strongest lineup available to him,
it's a radically
I would
different.
want to know, like, why would you do what you consider to be a rotated lineup at a time when there's not particularly schedule congestion. You have a home game against a team that's very winnable. It's a big potential 3 points that you can get. And you already have some rotation that's going to be forced through departures and injuries. Why rotate additionally on top of that?
Right. And you're about to have a week. You're about to have a week off too. Like you get to this Philly game and there's an international break too. Like the schedule is not congested in the slightest. I have so many questions about so many different aspects of this lineup.
Yeah.
Kevin, to your point with Dado Valenzuela, look, I have now moved on to the idea that I think that every time Pat Noonan says that he likes Dado, he's lying. Like there is no, seriously. I think that at this point that like there is something very clearly not wrong, but there's something that they don't like about his game.
Yeah.
Or they don't like about how he trains, or they don't like about something, because he has shown enough on the field in terms of the goal scoring, in that he's like the only other guy on this team that scores goals, that the fact that he doesn't, get play is there's something going on. I don't know what it is, but I no longer believe it when they say, oh, it's just circumstantial. Like, nah, the evidence I think is too strong on that one otherwise.
Before you make your next point, just to put that into context, Echenique, presumably a right wing back, Powell started there. You could think of it this way. Alvis Powell was started ahead of Dado Valenzuela. I don't know a single fan outside of a handful of absolute jokesters that would have made that decision.
Mark Schweikowski makes that decision a lot,
right.
Like noted Alvis Powell stand.
Right.
So on this lineup, you're playing a U22 out of position. I don't know why you do that under any circumstances. You brought him in to play right wing back. He is presumptively your starter at right wing back going forward, but you move him out of position and you play an absolutely weaker player in Alvis Powell, who multiple times during this game almost cost the team the game.
Yeah.
You have, on the other side, you don't have a healthy Luca Orishano. You brought in Lucas Engel to play wing back. Like that was what he was brought in to play. He was brought in to play wingback. And instead of starting him at wingback, you start him at center back, where he's already out of position. You can live with him being out of position because, number one, he's very talented. And number two, usually he has Miles Robinson and Matt Miazga back there with him that provide a lot of cover for him to freelance. And on the goal they get scored, Lucas is wildly out of position on the goal that gets scored. He is way too far up the field and can't recover backwards. And on your back line, you're starting Nick Hagland. Fine. Nick's played very well this year. You're starting Matt Miazga. And you have on the bench Teenage Hadebe, who is making over $1 million, and Gilberto Flores, who
I think Teenage is just under $1 million, right?
But
give or take
$1 million.
But yeah, he's a TAM center back.
TAM salary. TAM salary, Teenage Hadebe on the bench. Gilberto Flores, who has started games for this team at center back.
And I thought looked fine. He's made a couple of mistakes, but it's not like he's getting benched for play, I don't think.
He's won games he started.
Yeah,
multiple.
He's a U22. I'm told that, you want to get kids minutes, fine, whatever. He's played competently there. All to start Brad Smith at wingback instead of putting Lucas Engel out there at his natural position. So you are playing, in multiple cases on this lineup, you are playing people out of their natural position to put a inferior player on the field. With Ender Echenique, it's Alvis Powell. With Lucas Engel, it is Brad Smith. And the reward the team got for that is Brad Smith was completely invisible in the first half, contributed nothing to the attack, and gets subbed off at halftime. I do not understand with this team that there are just certain players on this team that they have decided for whatever reason that they're just not going to play, that they're just not going to play Teenage Hadebe unless they have to. They're not going to play Gilberto Flores unless they have to, when I think Brad Smith should be that player. Like, I would much rather have either one of those two players on the field than Brad Smith. I'm sorry. Brad's a nice guy, I'm sure, but like, he offers you nothing out there. maybe useful as a late game sub because I'm sure that he can pick up a card and defend as well as anyone for 10 minutes. But as a starter, that lineup they ran out last night was designed not to be competitive, just because that you had such inferior play on the wings and you're starting a U22 up top that doesn't play striker naturally. And we've seen
and he's
what
not
happens.
going to do the hold up play.
No,
that we've seen actually work pretty well in the strike pair this year. Like you could have had, if not Dotto, you could have had Kai Kamara.
Yep.
Starting that game.
Absolutely. And many people would have argued Kai should have started. Yeah.
He offers you more in the strike pairing with Echenike at out wide.
Yes.
Than you get between Echenike in the strike partnership and Powell out wide. So yeah, again, like Chief, I want to add to your Brad Smith comment. Their plan for Brad Smith was to put in Kenji Bomadem at halftime,
which makes no sense. Like none.
Which like what?
Feel bad.
What
for
is
him.
that supposed to do, other than just have a different number in that spot?
And again, that left wing back position is kind of sort of the only thing outside of Evander that has been the consistent source of offensive movement and offensive play. And it seems like they went out of their way to find the worst players on the team to fill that role.
Taylor Twellman has been really hard on Teenage Hadabi this year.
Sure.
If you've seen his Twitter account. And yeah, Teenage has made some mistakes. But surely the move at halftime, it's okay. You've already started Brad Smith. He's already played 45 minutes. You're not losing. Great.
Mission accomplished.
Right?
Yeah. Whatever you were trying to do.
Well done. Yeah.
Whatever you're trying to do, it's done. Brad Smith, he gave you 45 minutes. He's still standing. The team is still in a winnable position. Great. He's coming out. Why not move Lucas Engel out to left wing back and bring in Teenage Hadabi for the left center back spot, right? Like, even if you think Teenage hasn't been great this year, you have a fresh, natural left center back against an opponent that has 45 minutes of play in their legs.
Right. Or if you really, truly do not trust Teenage to ever see the field again, which is kind of the vibe I get for putting Bomadem in there instead, then just move Miazga or Hagland over. And yeah, you don't have the left-footed center back, but you've already decided that you don't trust any of your left-footed center backs on this team.
And you can sub in Flores.
Yes, and put in Flores, and then have Hagland or Miazga scoot over. Yeah.
It did, like the lineup choice. We've seen this lineup with, Echenike up top. It worked against Portland,
got the win. Not
because of anything he did. I don't understand the lineup choices. And then if you're going to play this lineup, the tactical way that they've set this game up in terms of like how they proceeded made absolutely no sense. Like you're still playing down the left-hand side with Brad Smith down there. Like at the very least, if you have to pick between playing down one side or the other, I would play down Powell's side more. Powell at least offers you something going forward.
He likes doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know that Brad Smith likes going forward.
There's something that they did something at the very beginning of the game that I had never noticed before, although it could just be because, and let me know if you guys have seen this before. Because I might not always be watching the kickoff, right? Lucas Engel comes out on the field and lines up out wide on the left. And Brad Smith is lining up more in the left center back position. And we're taking the kickoff. We go do the kickoff, do nothing with it, and then Engel and Smith both switch.
Do you think maybe were they supposed to be switching offense and defense? So when defending, Brad Smith was supposed to tuck in
I think that they were thinking that, if we start with the ball, let's see if we can do something real fast, and Lucas out left wide is going to give us the best chance of doing something right off the kickoff. If it doesn't work, then we switch back to where, they're going to play the rest of the game.
I'd love to know if that was a coach's decision or if the players decided to do that in the moments before kickoff. But again, that's like an admission that like Brad Smith is not the guy to be doing that. And we have seen a handful of times, and we saw it in this game when Yuji Kubo came in, that like you can put an out and out attacker in that wing back position and you kind of get what you're looking for from it. We saw Sergio Santos has done this in years past. Dom Badji has done this. Corey Baird played wingback from time to time. Yeah, Emil Assad did this. But like, if you're going to do this, and again, you're deciding that Brad Smith comes off at halftime, you could have thrown on Dado then for the left wingback position. Hell, I would have been interested to see what old Shrilla could have looked like in that position. He's a goal scoring threat in MLS Next Pro. Just
another option is just moving Ender back to right wing back, Powell over to the left, and Dado in for Ender. Like there's a million things you could do that at least give you something,
right?
But replacing a supplemental spot left back with a supplemental spot,
draft
whatever
pick.
His position is.
Yeah.
Dayton Flyer.
Right.
Is, I don't know. I don't know what that is supposed to give you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also don't know what they see in Dem. Yeah. I don't see it. Like
so we do have sticklers in the Discord who insist that his last name is Boma Dem or
cool.
Boma Dem, that they're together. One last name.
I can accept that. I will call him Kenji.
I have a long-standing belief that everyone gets one last name, and if you ask me to remember two last names, I'm not going to do it. I don't care. That's just you are now imposing. You're imposing extra memorization on me with this, and I
he's not imposing anything. It's just what his name is.
I feel like if there was a Dos Santos on this team, you could remember that.
No, the rules are what separates us from the animals. Okay, like I have my rules.
Rodrigo Paul.
Whatever no, it's a last name. It is whatever comes last. The last name that is in the line right there. That is the last name. I'm sorry.
That. The distinction between a last name and a surname is quite literally the last name.
Yeah, that's your last name. Don't add more shit if you don't want
it. Kenji gets a bad shake in this game. He gets thrown into what I think is an impossible decision. It is weird that he's the only sub in this position. Again, we could go through a number of permutations where a couple of subs would have made sense, or a different sub made sense, or maybe even a world where Kenji comes in, but other things are shaken up where it makes more sense here. But none of those things happen. He eventually gets pulled in the 82nd
which is wild. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw a guy get subbed in and subbed out for non-injury reasons like this. Like, that's,
so I'm sure it's happened.
It's been a while since I've seen it for an FC Cincinnati team.
The one time,
I almost guarantee you Kubo's was on a minutes restriction,
and that's fine.
I almost guarantee you that was the case.
And
but we've offered options.
Yeah.
Other than Kenji.
And I don't even hate the move in the abstract. It is weird though that that happened. But no, Chief, I was thinking of this. The last time in FC Cincinnati world that I remember this happening prominently was the last game Fatai Alashe played for San Jose. He I think he came into the game or started the game and then was subbed off like 10 minutes later, like super early, has a shouting match with the coach walking off the field, and the next day was traded to FC Cincinnati.
Love that for us. I can't believe that move didn't work out.
It's so weird.
We got outpossessed in this game, 54-46 overall, which home game, wild.
Yeah.
XG 1.27 to 0.61. I'm shocked we had 0.61 watching this game back. They had virtually no threat in this game. I think the two best scoring chances were were Evander long shots?
Let's see. Expected goals. I mean, 0.18 of that was from Dado Valenzuela himself, who, again, was like the most dangerous looking player on the field. Didn't score. Whatever. Give him all the props you want for not doing anything, but like had a couple of opportunities, which is more than we can say for a lot of the other players.
So here's something about Dado that I think is worth shouting out. Okay, I mean, off the top of my head, I recall 2 really good opportunities that he got. He had he had one shot in the box, and then he had the one free kick where he got his head on the on the end of it. That was kind of that Evander Dado, I guess, psychic connection there.
Why do you not want more of this, Pat?
So Dado played 20 minutes. He had the second most XG on the team.
Okay.
Which, 0.18, whatever. Denke had a 0.22 XG. But if you look at the expected goals on target, which is a post shot stat,
right?
And I'll just read the definition. The expected goals on target model is built on historical on target shots and includes the original XG of the shot, but also the goal mouth location where the shot ended up. It gives more credit to shots that end up in the corners compared with shots that go straight in the middle of the goal. This model is only for on-target shots, given that if you don't get your shot on target, there's a 0% chance it will result in a goal. Okay. Dado had 0.43 expected goals on target.
Okay.
The only player in the game who had a higher expected goals on target was Alonso Martinez,
the goal scorer
for New York City FC, who had a 0.45.
Wow.
Okay. And so Dado gave us, based on the, we can quibble with these underlying stats,
sure,
right?
Absolutely.
But Dado gave us, based on this, as much of a chance of scoring in 20 minutes as the actual goal scorer for NYCFC gave them of scoring in the entire game.
Yeah, the full 90 minutes was not subbed out.
Right. That's an impactful player. You can say whatever you want about him, but like he made an offensive impact aside from the actual chances. He won some fouls around the box. I know we talked about this and Noon doesn't like it or whatever, but he won some fouls around the box that, you get Evander on those balls. Those are opportunities. It's not my favorite way to generate an opportunity.
But if you're not generating opportunities elsewhere.
But we're not doing it otherwise. So,
and if we are going to play hero ball with Evander, give him a couple of opportunities where the other team has to stand 10 yards back. Like that sounds great.
Do you think Dado's not getting playing time because he is creating opportunities, and the whole philosophy of our offense is don't create opportunities? He's making the coaching staff mad by trying to score.
I mean, here, like, I'm gonna steal your bit here, Chief, and just have a hot take to have a hot take.
Hey,
Brenner's ceiling is what Dado is doing now, and that Brenner being brought in is only going to be able to match what Dado's giving this team right now.
I don't like that
If you think Brenner's going to come in and start scoring 3-4 goals a game, you don't remember Brenner all that well.
No, he'll score 3-4 goals in a game, and they just won't score for like another week, for another like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Right, fair enough.
It wouldn't have been lovely though to have somebody scoring 3-4 goals this game, this specific game. I'm pretty sure the last time he played NYCFC, he scored 3 goals.
Had 2 more taken off. I think
he scored 5 goals.
So I was gonna get to that because I think he scored 4 good goals.
Yes.
One of those was wrongly taken off.
Yes.
He scored a 5th goal that was appropriately waved off.
Okay, fair enough. Was the back heel should have stood, right? Or is that the one that was okay?
The back heel should have stood.
Okay, there we go.
That was the one where the sideline ref
wasn't even in position.
Said that Lucho passed the ball from out of bounds. when he was way out of position to make that call.
Yep.
And this wasn't I don't think this was the last time Brenner played them, actually, because I think that game was 22. And there was also a game where Brenner scored and Ted Uncle waved it off.
Yes.
Because he said it was like he called a foul and awarded us a penalty kick
instead of advantage,
letting Brenner score.
Yes.
And there was an explanation for that you could say made sense, but
it was annoying.
it was really annoying.
Yeah.
And unnecessary.
Yes. So, all right. Well, there you go. That's my hot take, is that Brenner's ceiling is Dato's current contribution. I guess the other thing I want to point out in this game is they do throw eventually the kitchen sink at NYCFC. So Kamara comes in, Valenzuela comes in, Kubo comes in.
I mean, yeah, they subbed on attacking players, but they didn't threaten down the stretch. They couldn't hold on to the ball.
So here's the thing.
That's the thing, is that this team is so bad at trying to possess and attack that they spent the majority of the time that they were chasing the game actually chasing the ball.
Right. So when all of these subs come in, what ends up happening and how this team ends up looking is just a rectangle around the field, where it's all of the players are either up top running along the sidelines or are Miazga and Hagland in the back. And then just right smack dab in the middle is Pavel Buka, the only player who I guess never gets tired, never needs rotated. Everybody else plays out of position to sub for each other, but not Buka. Buka never has to do this. And it doesn't work, because the second another team, say NYCFC, puts two players in the middle of the field, they're done. They're beaten. So the second NYCFC picks up the ball, they pass it into the midfield. The only human being that is there is Pavel Buka. Pass around him, and all of a sudden you're attacking, and our entire team is behind us. This is not an argument against attacking, in case Pat Noonan happens to hear this. That's not what I am suggesting. What I am suggesting is another midfielder. And I understand Guidi's on his way. I understand Guidi's on his way, but maybe Kubo could have been in central midfield, or maybe Dato could have been in central midfield. Put
Jimenez on the field and be like, hey, get out there, kid. See if you can do something.
I mean, just to be another body in the middle of the field to keep the other team from just slicing you up. That's why we lost the possession battle. Hell, you could keep your foot on the ball at the center circle at the exact midpoint of the field, and you only have to deal with one person, and it's Buka. And I hope he's not tired, because I don't know what we're going to do without him. So
yeah, I don't know. It's just bad. It was a bad watch. The goal that the goal they gave up, really, there's only one threatening moment in this entire game, and it's the goal they give up, where it's self-inflicted. It's a shitty pass from Miazga that puts Hagland in a bad spot. Hagland then has to just boot it, but he boots it right at an NYCFC player downfield, who then plays a line-breaking pass all the way forward, and somehow Lucas Engel is pushed way the hell up the field. He's completely useless in this play. And then Miazga has 2 yards in front of was it Martinez that scored the goal?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's 2 yards in front of Martinez. He can't close the angle. Hagland can't catch up, and then Roman, I guess does his best, but certainly never. He doesn't make any of those spectacular plays that always seem to get made against us in these situations. So in the moment where you needed something crazy from him, you don't get it. But that was it. It was bad passing, and then a bad line of bad angle that Miazga takes to try and stop this. At the end, like he's motioning for Roman to come out because I think he realizes he's gotten beat on this. But
here's a question on that, on the bad passing, the bad angle. So you mentioned earlier, like Engel was way upfield, right?
Right.
If Engel is playing left wing back and there's a third kind of true center back in there, do you think that other third center back is also all the way upfield where Engel is? Or do you think just Engel is up there because there's not a completely unthreatening left wing back in the game?
Bingo. Yeah. Unless that center back is Yersa Mosquera, who just had a shot on goal, then no. I think whoever it would have been at a minimum further back.
And
right.
By the way, I just fact checked myself. The game where the Brenner had the goal waved off, to call the penalty, was against Philadelphia.
Ah,
so
jerks.
My bad.
Well, there you go.
And we got a shot of Brenner at the game. That was cool.
Yeah, all the new guys were there except for Guidi, which is good. I love to see that all the guys are there. I was honestly a little worried that Jabari was a fictional person. Like the team got duped and that he doesn't actually exist.
It was like a scammer overseas, sold them something that didn't actually. Brenner apparently now is a glasses guy. I kind of like the look for him.
Hell yeah. He's matured. He went out and studied abroad and came back.
Like when they did the Zoom call to see if he wanted to come back and he showed up with glasses on, like Pat and Chris were like, he's grown up. We can do this deal.
Yeah, Brenner walks in. He's like, have you read A Movable Feast?
I'm reading a book called The Secret.
he speaks Italian a little bit now. He's so cultured.
It's like it also apparently speaks perfect English in these interviews too. It's like, my man, you went abroad and changed. Signs off all his emails. Cheers now.
Yeah, I was a little sad though that Guidi wasn't there because he is
the guy we need.
He's one, the guy we need, and two, the guy I'm probably most hyped for. Of course, after Brenner, but that's
right.
That's there.
This game sucked.
It did suck.
Let
me do this. Let me do this.
Let's the same with a lot more questions about this team and where we're going.
If you had told me that, in fact, I'll go so far as to say I'm beginning to think that this lineup was played to send a message to somebody. Or at least if that was the case, it would explain a lot of the decisions that were made.
After the game, my first thought was that this was a lineup that was not the best possible lineup to win the game. That something else was going on, that it was deemed a night that they could rotate, that it was a final tryout for certain players at certain positions, that it was, let's see what we got in these guys before they fall even further behind in the depth chart, rotation, and just making sure certain guys didn't have to put certain minutes on their legs. I don't know what it was. But let me ask you this, and this will be the last thing on this game. If you had to assign a percentage of blame in this game, on the players, and I'll just say the coaching staff, where do you guys assign the blame? Is this 50-50? Is it 80-20? Who's taken the brunt of the blame on this performance?
I'm going to say 70% to the coaching staff, 30% to the players, because it definitely feels, when you look at this lineup, like the coaching staff did not put out the best possible lineup that we could have put out. And they were asking players to do things that, number one, they're not natural to do. And number two, that, frankly, in a couple cases, that they just don't have the talent to do. I mean, there were a couple guys that gave extended minutes in this game that I would say are frankly not MLS caliber players. Like Their depth and play in case of emergency types, but like, I'm sorry, there's a couple guys on here that should never, absent catastrophic injury or norovirus going through the locker room, should get a chance to be playing significant minutes for a contending Supporters Shield contending team. And I don't know why. I suspect there's all sorts of things that we're not privy to that go into these decisions, whether that's, you get to the stadium and it's like, how's the legs feeling? How's this feeling? Or something that happens on training and Friday we're not privy to, or just how players look in training. We don't know that. Like the media gets a couple minutes of look at that, and without the benefit of knowing what players are being asked to do or what they're seeing or not seeing in training. But to me, sitting outside here, we went into this game set up for failure. And I think the players didn't cover themselves in glory per se. I think probably they'd agree with that assessment based on the scoreline and the stats. But there was a stronger lineup that could have been played in this game. And when you combine that with sort of the overall lack of what I would consider to be a plan to beat this NYCFC team that they have struggled with time and time again. Yeah, I think that the lion's share of the blame falls on the staff for this game.
Yep. Grayson, do you agree? 70-30, coaching staff taking 70% of the blame on the loss here.
I would go 80-20.
Ooh.
Because one, I'm not holding for the players who just don't have it. I don't really put the blame on them.
Interesting.
Yeah. They went out there and did what they could, So like for me, for players, putting blame on players, yeah, I'm looking at guys who didn't do what was fairly expected of them.
Yeah.
Right. Players who played under their usual standard. And like, yeah, there was some sloppiness that even for this team was excessive, and then, a couple things like they didn't have an easy job, but obviously, Evander didn't score a spectacular goal. He made it interesting a couple of times. Denke didn't put a shot on target. He had a couple of opportunities to do so. Not the easiest opportunities by any means, but like those are guys who were paid to do the not easy things. So they didn't. And that can't be your entire game plan. Like, it's frustrating that it seems like it is. So like those are situations where I would say like, yeah, like those are a couple times where the players didn't do what they were expected to do. But, and I don't know that they were given that they were done any favors.
Yeah. I think I fall closer to Chiefs percentages. Part of me does look at the core of this team. Echenike, Denke up top. Yes, it's not Echenike's, normal position, but they did get the win against Portland. Anunga, Buka, Evander, Hagelin, Engel, Miazga. Like in the abstract, like that's awesome. Like that's a good core of this team. But yeah, it's once you start factoring in what was going on the outside and what could have been going on, it's really hard not to look at how this team was set up as being the reason why this was not a victory or no points were gained from this. And I think Noonan agreed with that, or at least made comments after the fact that the team was not set up correctly and that was on him. So
yeah, this is again where I make my plea that I wish that the soccer media landscape in this country was robust enough that like I'm NFL fan. I love the NFL. Yeah. I'm excited for football season starting back up. There is no shortage of people online who are former players who will sit and they'll like put film up and they'll go through film and they'll say, okay, on this play, this is what I saw. This is what went wrong. Here's where the coverage busted. Here's where, and I know soccer doesn't lend itself as well for, reasons we've talked about, where it's hard to figure out where the stop point is or where a play starts or, how to fairly evaluate something. But God, do I wish there was some place you could go or multiple sources you could go to get different opinions of just like, somebody watch this game and tell me what's wrong. And somebody give me a more informed opinion than I have about, what were they trying to do? Maybe there was something in there that they were trying to do that just didn't come off for whatever reason. I would love to know that. But like, if this was the NFL, there would be 45 accounts with all 22 that would be, you could parse through to try and have an idea of that before you end up watching Brian Baldinger fat finger his way through his iPad while recording it from his phone at the same time because he can't edit videos.
Yeah, I mean, to put it, I guess, very simply, and to risk overgeneralizing quite a bit, I think, everybody who looks at it, whether it's fans or league media or whatever, they think that there is something wrong with this team, that it's not the sum of its parts, and particularly on the offensive side of the ball, things aren't working consistently other than hope of, Evander pulls something that nobody else can do. Right.
Yeah.
And I assume that there are answers that to the question of, what are they trying to do? Why is what they're doing what they're trying to do? If it's not, why isn't what they're trying to do working? Or why aren't the players doing what the coaching staff is telling them to do? Like, I assume there's answers to like all of this stuff.
Right.
And I don't think that like I don't think we have any chance of like getting that like exactly right, or many outsiders have any chance of like knowing exactly what the answers to all these questions are.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to see some indication that the people who need to know these answers, the coaches, are asking these questions, have ideas, have answers to them, and have ideas about like where the disconnects are,
Yeah.
Because it's been 2 years. Like, think about this. It has been 2 years. How many times have we read this in, Matt Doyle's power rankings or someone writing about this team? This statement, FC Cincinnati still looks like it has another gear to hit.
Yeah.
Like some variation of that. Oh, when this team hits its stride, watch out. Like, that was all last year. That was, when this team clicks it into the fifth gear, watch out. It never happens. And I'm just sort of curious why. If everyone agrees that there is so much talent and so much potential on this team, and it just never gets realized except in spurts here and spurts there, I am desperate to know why everyone keeps saying that, but no one ever isn't somebody curious at like a league level or like a national writer level as to, okay, why am I consistently wrong about FC Cincinnati in terms of, I think they're really talented, but like,
right.
I guess there's just no market for that kind of writing because I damn sure I'm not qualified to do it.
I don't know. Well,
a better run podcast would be switching to a guest right now that could answer that question.
Yeah. I mean, you hope that there aren't a whole bunch of people that can answer this question.
Yeah, actually.
And that none of them happen to be employed by the FC Cincinnati coaching staff. Yeah.
Well, joining us here on the podcast, Jim Curtin. Jim, talk to me here. Why can't this team do this? Oh, God. Well, look, we don't have a guest, but let's head on over to part 2. Let's take a look a little broader at the table, and we'll get you out of here. Okay, we are back, and we're going to look a little broader, little further out at the table, the Shield race generally, what we expect from this team going forward. But before I do that, you may have wondered, hey, what happened to the old Patreon questions? Well, we're doing something a little different this month. We asked for things to do in and around Cincinnati, sights to see, foods
Watch
to
the
eat.
team score a goal at home. Damn it.
We did ask for them to be slightly realistic in what the challenges were. We're compiling them to bring them to you in September. That will be our challenge in that first week of September. So just keep an eye out for that. And if you have not had an opportunity to throw something in there for the Cincinnati bucket list challenge, something somebody has to do in Cincinnati, there's still plenty of time. Sign up, not plenty of time. We're actually running out of August, but sign up and you'll be able to ask the question. Submissions only count on Patreon. You're going to have a brilliant idea. You're going to throw it in the Discord. You're going to tweet it at us. That's not going to count. Okay. Just put it in the Patreon. So, with that said, we now look ahead to the table and the Supporter Shield race in particular. The Charlotte New York Red Bull game just wrapped up at time of recording, which has the Supporter Shield race, I'll read out the top 10 looking like this. The Philadelphia Union is on top with 54 points. San Diego with 53 points. FC Cincinnati with 52 points. Nashville with 50 points. Minnesota United with 50 points. Vancouver Whitecaps with 49 points, but a game in hand. Charlotte with 47 points. Orlando City with 47 points. Inter Miami with 46 points, but still 3 games in hand, and Columbus Crew with 45 points. They do have a game in hand. I don't know where they picked up that game in hand, but they have one. So really, when we're looking at this, the way I see it, Philadelphia, San Diego, Cincinnati, Nashville, Minnesota, Vancouver, and just because they have so many daggone games in hand, Miami are your likeliest suspects for hoisting the Supporter Shield trophy. I think when we looked at the top 8 in the World's Gam like 2 months ago, I don't think Nashville was in that. And yet, Nashville looking pretty good. They're sneaking up on us quickly, 2 points behind. A loss to Philly and a Nashville win next weekend would see them clear us and bump us down to the 3rd place. They have been on quite a tear. I am curious though, like at the same time, I will say the Shield race is very much on. FC Cincinnati and Philadelphia play next weekend. It is a massive game. If there is a winner out of that game, that could very easily determine the Shield race right then and there. There's a couple of other matchups that'll happen later on. FC Cincinnati will play Nashville later on as well. That could help determine things. It's going to get crazy. How do we feel about the Shield race with just 6 games remaining?
I think it's hard to feel optimistic about the Shield race at this point. And that's mostly because, so you go down an order of, you went down an order what like the state of the Shield race is right now.
Yes.
I'm going to read you some numbers.
Okay.
And tell me which one of these sticks out to you with the idea higher numbers are better.
Okay.
22, 19,
Sure.
7, 17, 16, 16, 14.
So there's one in the single digits that is a little perplexing.
Yeah, that's the goal differential of the Shield contenders right now. That's 7. That would be us.
Okay.
With a goal differential of 7 plus 7 currently. The 2 teams we are chasing currently, that would have been the 22 and the 19. 22 for Philly, 19 for San Diego. So
now, I will counter with this. Not that you're really making an argument, you're making an observation, but I will counter your observation with another observation. Goal differential is the second tiebreaker. The first tiebreaker wins.
People forget in
and
MLS.
On that number, 16, 16, 16. Philadelphia, San Diego, Cincinnati have the same number of wins. Nashville has 15, Minnesota has 14, and it goes down from there.
Yeah. It's the age-old story. We've been overperforming our metrics, our advanced metrics, the entire year. The XG and the goal differential all suggest that we should probably be a little further down the table than we are. We're being propped up currently by the fact that we have two strikers that excel at scoring from low XG opportunities, that this team wins 1 goal games at a rate that is, you would say it was unsustainable if it hadn't been sustained for so long under this regime.
Correct.
And the other thing this team does really, really well is it plays well on the road. They have 9 road wins. That's tied with San Diego for best in the league.
Crazy.
I think that the next closest team behind them is 7 with Minnesota. But this is a team that plays exceptionally well on the road.
So
the team they're chasing, though, Philadelphia, awful on the road. 6 wins, 5 losses. So I don't know, man. Like you think that if you want to talk to yourself into believing, I think this team is a Shield contender and that the Shield race is still on and that there is still a hope for this team to hoist Shield. Number one, you really, really need to hope that bringing in Brenner as a second striker is what unlocks this offense.
Yeah.
And that all the stuff that we spent this first segment talking about regarding, patterns of play, creativity, spacing, movement, that having Brenner alongside Denke offers this team more ability to get out and play on the break, because now you have 2 strikers that, can both play with the ball at their feet and also, score bangers. And that's what you got to basically pin your hopes on, I think, for this team, is that you have to believe that these moves they made to bring in specifically Brenner and to a lesser extent Guidi are things that can unlock this team. And you have to believe that Yuya Kubo getting off a minutes limit will offer this team something that it can play in terms of making a late game substitution that actually can impact a game for the positive when it comes to that, like not feeling like when you go down a goal, the game is over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. Also, the next 2 games on FC Cincinnati's schedule are going to determine this. They are at home with Philadelphia visiting, and they are at home after the international break with Nashville visiting. You win both of those, hell, the Shield race could be over right there, or at a minimum, the race for the first place in the East.
Because you're gonna need San Diego to drop points at some point, and they
Which
drop points. They drop points to Portland.
Yep.
At home last night. Their schedule is pretty tissue paper after they get through LAFC and Minnesota the next 2 weeks. But they've also the first team they're the first team to have clinched a playoff spot too. So
yeah. So glancing around at some of the competitors' schedules here, it is kind of crazy how tough everybody's schedule looks. So obviously the next 3 games for FC Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Nashville, then on the road to Galaxy. So that's fun. Philadelphia obviously has us next, and then Vancouver.
At Vancouver.
Where
MLS is perfectly willing to call phantom penalties to get Thomas Muller goal scoring opportunities.
Yeah.
Tune into the World's Game for more. San Diego has, as you mentioned, LAFC and Minnesota in the next 2 weeks. Nashville gets a little bit of a break. They get Atlanta at home, and then they have to play us. They have Philadelphia in the Open Cup September 16th. Something to keep an eye on for both Philadelphia and Nashville. They will have a little bit of schedule congestion there. After that Open Cup match, 4 days later, they go on the road to Orlando. So that's fun. Minnesota, they're in this race. They go, they host Portland, on the road to San Diego, host Austin, host Chicago. And then you have Vancouver with very funny. They go on the road to Orlando and then host Philadelphia, and then they're in the Canadian Championship. The one that is weird to me though is Miami. So they have the Leagues Cup semifinal, and they have a match against Chicago on August 30th. There's the international break. They go on the road to Charlotte. Somewhere in their schedule, I am not seeing it on FOTMob. I don't know where this is. They have another game against Atlanta that had to be rescheduled. So they've got a lot of games to play.
They have 2 Leagues Cup games minimum.
At least.
They have 2.
Yes.
They have exactly 2 Leagues Cup games left.
Yes.
Because they have the semifinal and
Yes.
then either the championship or the third place game. And so that one also needs to be, that second game also needs to be fit in there somewhere. Here's something I've just noticing here that made me chuckle a little bit.
Yeah.
Is San Diego randomly has a club friendly against Tijuana on September 16th, which is 3 days after they play Minnesota.
Huh.
I don't know how to think about that. Like,
They obviously weren't anticipating being in the middle of a Shield run when they scheduled this game.
That is 100% what they did. They thought, hey, we're an expansion team. It's probably going to suck in year one. We got to give people something late in the season to get them hyped. If we happen to be pushing for playoffs, we don't want it too late. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Oh, that's great. And then, Miami, the end of Miami's schedule is nuts right now. So again, there is an Atlanta United game somewhere in this. I don't know where, because September 13th game, September 16th game, September 20th game, September 24th game, September 27th game. That's not including a Leagues Cup game that will be scheduled somewhere in there. And then, like I said, an Atlanta United match somewhere in there as well. They're going to be playing a game every 3 days. As much as Miami is always a threat when it comes to MLS, I gotta assume that they cannot sustain this long enough. So
they can't keep getting away with this. Is what we're pinning our hopes on.
The Atlanta game is October. The October 11th one, was that one that was previously scheduled?
I don't think so. Did I just close the Miami one? October 11th. No, it was not.
Oh yeah, because they played them in March. So that's your.
There it is.
Makeup.
Okay, so they pushed it way out there. Okay,
it's October 11th.
Yeah. I don't know. After a match, when you lose it and you drop points in a race like this, the instinct is to say it's done, and they've got to play a lot of tough games against teams that they've not done historically well against. Everybody has a tough schedule. I mean, if you want optimism in the Shield race, it's number one. Statistically speaking, this team probably is due to start playing better at home, just because most MLS teams play well at home.
We have a ton of home games. Like, yes, they have not had great recent success, but they also just haven't had a lot of home games. There's a very backloaded schedule.
Yeah. So you hope that at some point the luck when it comes to home games turns around a little bit.
Yeah.
And they start playing a little bit better at home. That's always a possibility. Miami, look, they're an old team. And what do old teams love more than playing games on 2 and 3 days rest constantly? That's delightful. Everyone over 35 and 40 loves that. That's going to go great.
They rotated heavily against DC United on the road with the Leagues Cup game coming up in just a couple of days. They drew to DC United 1-1. So,
which, I mean, fair play. How did we do against DC United?
No comment.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. So, yeah, you gotta up the home game. Like, you gotta play a little better at home, and maybe one would hope that a result like they took this past weekend creates maybe a little bit more urgency among both decision makers and the players, that this opportunity could slip away from them. And at the end of the day, too, this is still a supremely talented team. There is a lot of talent on this team. Like, there are a lot of really, really good players. They're about to deploy an attack with Brenner, Evander, and Kevin Denke. Like, that's any one of those could be a star player on what, 75% of this league? Any one of those three would be the best player. So it's
yes.
So there's a lot of reason for optimism. It's just that the team have to hit that gear, or they have to defend like they're out of their minds and get on one of those streaks like they've had previously where nobody scores on them, which we've seen. But we talked at the start of the year when we did our season preview that like what you wanted out of this team was this team to start peaking around playoff time. It's kind of funny that the way it's worked out is if they are the team we were hoping they would be and they start peaking around playoff time and they have a real chance, they give themselves a real chance to win MLS Cup, it probably means that they won the Shield on the way there.
Yeah, that tracks. And we have not seen this team peak yet. So big wins.
2 years. We waited 2 years for it.
Big wins against Philadelphia and Nashville would go a long way to doing that. Win against LA Galaxy, come back Sunday Night Soccer. We're off to the races. Suddenly this team is well and truly peaking.
Grayson, what odds would you give on us winning Shield this year? What do you think?
5%.
So you're saying there's a chance. Kevin?
So what? There's 7 teams realistically in contention, maybe 8 because MLS is weird. I believe in this team. I believe in this talent. I believe in the depth that they brought in. I believe Noonan will have learned from this game and understand you can't
stop playing Brad Smith.
Yeah, you can't get fancy with it now. You got to play the best players available until you can't. And I think that this team will have a real shot at it. With that, I will give them a 20% chance.
Yeah, their problem at the end of the day is there's just a lot of teams around them that also are right there.
They don't control their own destiny with 2 teams ahead of them. Now, they will play Philadelphia.
They control their own destiny in regards to Philadelphia.
Yes.
They do not with Miami and they do not with San Diego, though, right? Because Miami can still catch them.
Yeah, but Miami would have to Miami would have to win all of their
games in hand.
And
they still control their destiny in that regard.
But they would have to play way above their
points per game.
Yeah,
right.
With Philly, if we take a game back, like they're basically ahead of us. It's a little bit more complicated than this, but they're basically ahead of us based on the game where they beat us up at their place, right?
Yeah.
If we get that game back and beat them next weekend, we're ahead of them.
Right. Yeah. I have a really hilarious feeling, sad, hilarious, that this team is going to go out and beat Philly, beat Nashville, and then spit the bit against either Red Bulls or Montreal at the end of the year. Because Montreal is sneakily playing a little bit better lately.
Right.
They just brought in a DP, and that's kind of the funniest way I think that this could all go pear-shaped as they go to Red Bull Arena or, Sports Illustrated written by AI Field or whatever the hell they're calling it these days. And that's where it all goes undone.
Here's the last, I guess my last question for the group is, if I said like over under, well, we're on 52 points, right?
Okay.
Right.
Six games to go.
Right.
So
theoretical maximum of 70.
Yeah, 1.5 points per game would be 61.
Okay.
Over under 60.5 points at the end of this season for FC Cincinnati.
Over? I think over, because that would be probably like, what, 3 wins and a draw at least?
3 wins gets you to 61.
Yeah. Over.
I will say over as well. I think they got 3 wins in them. I don't know if that's enough to win the Shield. I don't think that's enough to win the Shield.
It's
only
not.
3 wins. Now, if it's 3 wins and the rest are draws, that might be enough. I don't know. This is a weird Shield race. But yeah, I think there's 3 wins in here.
It probably depends on who the 3 wins are. Like if your 3 wins are Nashville, Philly, and
Orlando.
Just pick one, Orlando or Montreal. Like, yeah, that makes a huge difference. If your 3 wins are Montreal, Red Bulls, and Orlando, and you lost to Nashville and you lost to Philly, I think it's probably hard to win Shield in that circumstance.
Yeah.
I would guess this team right now, just based on looking at the form they're in, but also considering the players they are bringing in and like what that could mean, especially with players getting healthy. Like allegedly Miles Robinson could be back as soon as this week.
Weekend.
Nice.
Allegedly Luca Orishano could be back as soon as this weekend. They'll probably both be on minutes limits coming back, but that means that they're almost certainly going to be fit after getting the week off for the weekend off for the international break. So I think that this game against Philadelphia this coming Saturday is, I think, for the right to remain in the Shield race, if that makes sense. They're not going to win the Shield on Saturday, but this is the ticket and the cost of entry to play the rest of the game, so to speak. And so if they can do that, then they're going to have 2 weeks off or a week and a half off to get healthy, get their new players integrated, or in Brenner's case, reintegrated back into the team. And I think they'll be well set up for that last run of games. And I think that they go way over 61 if they win that. If they lose this game at Philly, I think that at that point, your expectations recalibrate to just ensure that you have home field advantage in the first round of the MLS Cup playoffs, presented by Audi, as discussed by the postcast.
Yes. I think that tracks. I mean, I just want to inoculate people for these takes. Losing to Philly won't take them out of the Shield race either. It's a huge blow. Do not get me wrong. But they won't necessarily be out. So.
No, but like, I think that like you can put a bow on it at that point. I would be whatever percent I have in my head, and like you're at 20, Grayson's at 5. I'm probably around 15 to 20 at this point. Like I like our chances better than a lot of teams. I think ultimately people need to start preparing themselves for San Diego winning it as an expansion team, which is gross.
I can't believe we did that whole bit last year and they're going to come in and win the Shield.
Yeah, no, be careful what you wish for. But how great will it be if we beat them and take it from them? That should be all the motivation this team needs, is that they can deny San Diego this.
I would have said revenge for Yedlin's lost investment, but they got rid of Yedlin.
It's the one final fuck you to Corey Baird, too, is that they deny him the ability they trade him and he doesn't win the Shield. He has to collect a ring from the team that like beat out his team.
God, that'd be funny. He looked good for San Diego right up until he pulled his groin, but
yeah. So everybody celebrates in their own way.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, Chief, get us out of here.
Fuck Columbus.
The Cincy Postcast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They are a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, I say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever. Just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. I think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. A even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon. But maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.